Dead by Daylight is a fun game. I know, pause. Bold takes only. I like Dead by Daylight. I think it's a good time, and I want it to continue being fun for a long time. So, what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to give you some ideas as to how the game could potentially get to be in a healthier place in the future than it is right now. Because while it's fun right now, I think it could be even more fun in the future. Hello friends, I'm Das Food, and now that I've already laid out what this video is going to be about, please do make sure you like and subscribe. We are trying to grow, and growth on YouTube, it turns out, is kind of hard, so if you would do that, I would greatly appreciate it. But anyway, let's jump into it. I'm going to give you 3 things here today. There are a lot more we could have gone with, but I narrowed it down to what I'm going to call 3.5, really, because one of them kind of has 2 points in there, but don't tell on me. You don't tell, I won't tell. How about that? So thing number 1 is I want them to make all non-licensed DLC become free after a year of release. And what that basically means, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? It means that whenever they put out a non-licensed piece of downloadable content, within a year, it will be released to the public for absolutely free. Now, I'm not talking about cosmetics. That's never going to happen. That's their big moneymaker. I get it. But playable characters, absolutely, this should be a thing. One of the biggest obstacles to getting into DBD for new players is that there is frankly a terrifying amount of content that they need to buy to be competitive or just to get the full experience. Assuming a new player wants all non-cosmetic DLC packs, they're going to have to pay over 200 USD to get there, which is a lot of money. That's a lot just to be competitive, just to keep up with everyone. And when you consider that there are 4 chapters released each year, and most chapters go for $7, some are a little cheaper, some of the licensed ones are a little more expensive, this means that the price of owning everything goes up by about $30 each year, which is not insubstantial. I think we have this habit, if we've been playing the game long enough, to assume that, oh, it's only $7. Yeah, but if you're a new player, believe me, that adds up really quickly. And do keep in mind, I'm only counting DLC that unlocks new characters, not cosmetics. While there will always be exceptions, of course, I'm not saying there won't be, most players are going to want to buy at least one skin from the in-game shop for their favorite character. If they do that, that's going to set them back another 15 bones, which, again, not insubstantial. And let's say that same player also wants the current battle pass, that's another $10 down the drain. Basically, the financial barrier to entry is pretty immense for a game that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, should be a free-to-play game, but this financial barrier to entry is just extremely harsh. If all non-licensed DLC was made free today, not including Tools of Torment since it's just dropping, I mean, I'm recording this a day before it drops, that would save new players over 102 USD before taxes are factored in, and also give them access to a host of useful perks. For the sake of fairness and the criteria that I've set out, I'll even drop Roots of Dread and Forged in Fog from this estimation since they were released within the last calendar year or the last DBD year. Even with those changes, that is still nearly $90 that new players could save when buying the game, and it's not even really any skin off of behaviors back because they're going to spend, a lot of players at least, are going to spend way more than that over the course of their time in the game just on cosmetics. Also, when we're talking about making the game more accessible for new players, I do want to point out something that, look, this doesn't entirely fit with this point, but I want to add it in here as a bit of an aside that licensed perks should absolutely be made far easier to acquire. Many of the game's top perks like Call of Brine, Pain Res, and Save the Best for Last are currently locked behind paywalls, which, yikes, is that not kind of the definition of pay to win? If you can pay money and have a better chance of winning the game? This needs to change. So if we're making year 7 the year where the game is made healthier overall, I would advise a massive overhaul to the Shrine of Secrets. I might make a full video on that, but I wanted to mention in this part just to put it out there. Next up at number 2, we have be more willing to play with the meta. I think we can all agree that the current meta has gotten pretty stale. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing killers run nothing but gen slowdown and regression perks, and survivors focusing in on second chance and gen speed perks. Thankfully, the answer to this problem is just stupidly simple. Just get goofy with different perks and see what sticks. Sure, there will undoubtedly be weeks where a perk is made way too strong and needs to be kill switched, but where's the real harm in that? I would much rather play a game where things are swapped around and kept fresh with the inherent risk of overdoing it, rather than a game where everything is kept so safe, so under lock and key, that it just reaches the state of stale boredom. Yes, you will always have your sweat lords who only run the strongest, most meta perks, but I think most of the community would be ecstatic to live in a world where perks rise and fall within weeks, rather than this current world where the same pool of perks have been king for most of the game's lifetime. I'd personally love to live in a world where perks like Smash Hit and Up the Ante are boosted considerably for a short period of time, but maybe I'm alone in that. Maybe people enjoy facing a minimum of 3 dead hards every game. I don't. I enjoy facing that perk about as much as I enjoy watching Bert Kreischer's alleged comedy routine, but again, maybe that's just me. I just think it'd be really fun if maybe they buffed it so that, oh yeah, if you proc Smash Hit, you get a couple extra seconds added to the boost. And they get to just play around and do these types of things that would make the game a little more refreshing to play. Because how great would it be if you're playing and 3 of the 4 survivors have Smash Hit? That'd be awesome. But again, maybe it's just me. I get excited about these kinds of things. And finally, at number 3, I would say release 3 chapters in year 7, not 4. For most of Dead by Daylight's life cycle, there's been a pretty consistent schedule where they drop 4 new chapters each year. Most of them a new killer and a new survivor, but obviously there have been some levels of variation within that. But I want to see a change this year because more than anything, what DBD needs this current year is another deep and revitalizing Operation Health. Even the best live service games go through peaks and valleys, and right now, brother, we are in a deep, deep valley. I'll concede that your experiences are inherently different and may be more positive than mine, but lately it just seems like all of my usual DBD friends are just kind of burnt out with the game. Most of them don't hate the game, mind you, they're just tired of it. And to be honest, I kind of am too. I'm tired of samey killer designs, I'm tired of hating nearly every map to some degree, I'm tired of meta perks that punish players for playing the game as intended. Right now, I'm just tired, and I know I'm not alone. What DBD needs right now is a fresh start. The devs should go through and address some of the game's long-standing issues, give weak perks a little more kick, get rid of god loops, touch up on the killers who need some fine-tuning, and check off all of the small to medium-sized issues that hold the game down. I know they can't make the game perfect, and even if they did, I know the community would still complain about something because that is the nature of online discourse. But I also know that the first Operation Health revitalized the game in a major way before the meta settled down again. I would love to see a second Operation Health, but I'm curious to know, what do you think about these suggestions that I put in here? Do you think any of them are good? Do you think they're all good? Do you think they're all bad? Am I just a big dum-dum with a smooth brain? Offer your takes down below on how to make the game a more healthy place. And remember, always be nice to each other in the comments. If you want to bully me, that's cool. I'm okay with that. But please do be nice to each other. We're all here because we enjoy the same thing. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I will see you in the next video. And until then, I've been Das Food. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my